9 finishes, 8 knockouts, and 6 first round finishes. This is when Hawes was talking shit to DC Daniel Cormier, and Daniel Cormier was ready to come out of retirement to put the pause on that boy.
Passing out the medicines. We've been on that rock star regimen, knowing that I'm heaven sent, higher than I ever been. I got a problem with.
What's going on, guys, and welcome to Totally Blitzed Podcast, Fight Club Edition. Today we talking UFC. These are your hosts for the episode. I'm Paul Pickle Wyndham Concha. I already took my shot a little earlier, but I got my truly with me, and always with me are my two hosts for Fight Club.
Oh my fucking god, bro. I'm rewatching these knockouts from this weekend. Bro, this shit was fucking Kev Water, boy, Savoy, boy, you better not hit me like this, you getting shot. But dog, bro, these knockouts are fucking insane. Bro might have threw his knee like 8 feet in the air to knock that dude out in the first fight. Oh my gosh, not a spinning elbow.
Man, that shit was gross, man. What's going on, y'all boys? It's your boy Mark. PT Prime Time, you know what it is.
Shit,
Man, bro, the UFC night took over the boxing night. For real.
Nah, it really did. And UFC Austin really wasn't fucking around. They kept saying there must be something in the water in Austin, just because there was, like, especially in the beginning, there's so many knockouts back to back to back. Shit, we could start with that. We'll start with the prelims. We had Dolidze getting the flying knee KO over Kyle Dawkins to start the prelims off, to start the card off. That's the knee Kev's talking about when he says somebody had to jump 8 feet in the air to land that motherfucker. And if you don't know Kyle Dawkins, he's actually, his brother just fought in the main card we covered a couple weeks ago, Dawkins versus Blades, where Blades beat the crap out of old dude. But you got the pedigree, you got another family member in the UFC. Didn't look good for him either, though. Then the next fight, we had a KO, Phil Hawes getting the KO by elbows over Win. This fight, though, this is when Hawes was talking shit to DC Daniel Cormier, and Daniel Cormier was ready to come out of retirement to put the pause on that boy. Like, bro, I don't play that shit, bro.
Hey, I actually got watched Charles Sonnen about that. So that dude is Phil Hawes, like John Jones. He's from John Jones's wrestling camp or something like that. And even John Jones was telling Charles Sonnen that, like, yo, this is gonna be the next me. Like, he's gonna be.
Oh, he's like that. Okay.
He's really like that. So like, Charles Sonnen was like, oh wow. So like, him being gassed up and then getting knocked out and then seeing DC tells us, like, yeah, bro, you picked the wrong one. You picked the wrong one. That's pretty, like, the level of that shit was at, and the fact that DC just said, oh, you motherfucker, you up here? I'm all the way up here. Fuck wrong with you? And shut that shit down. Because what was he saying in the mic? Wasn't he saying, like, bro, I don't pick fights? And what was he saying?
Because he Hawes, after the fight, he immediately, like, DC steps into the cage, and Hawes is saying, you picked the wrong pony. You picked the wrong pony. You picked the wrong pony. Like, yelling that. And then all of a sudden, like, DC has, like, kind of like confused look on his face. He's like, I don't pick fights. I don't pick fights. And then he steps in closer. And then this is when, like, I think the trainer and the ref, like, other people were also there in the moment with him. And and DC is just telling him, like, hey, bro, like, I don't care about all that. Like, just show respect. Just show respect. And then he was my favorite line, because then Hawes immediately after that was like, okay, you're right, I apologize. But DC wasn't letting him off the hook like that. DC then followed up with, you didn't beat me. You didn't beat me. I don't know why you act like that. Like, that was one of the most, it's like, I mean, I'm not saying it's true, but it is true. Like, hey, bro, like, you need to relax. Like, I don't know why you're getting hype on me. Like, you didn't beat me. Relax. So, but at the same point, some of our fans on the Twitter page at Totally Blitz, give us a follow. They were I tweeted, like, yeah, bro, like, DC is about to come out of retirement, beat up Hawes, and people like that. And then someone was like, yeah, Like he completely bitched him, and I was like, yeah, bro, that's insane. He completely bitched him in front of all the hoes on live television.
After you won.
Yeah, after you won, you get
For no
lectured.
reason.
I like DC to put them things on Brian and nobody, bro. I like DC to be able, especially a legendary champion, Hall of Famer. Yeah, I don't know, bro.
Hey,
Yeah, he put them paws on him.
Shout out Win though, because Win, so he lost, and he lost pretty decisively. Like you could tell, like he wasn't the better fighter in that fight. But he did he posted on YouTube, Instagram, or something afterwards of his breakdown of the fight throughout the time. And it's fucking hilarious. I'm gonna link it in the chat for y'all boys. But this shit is like, because he's like, he gets hit with it, like he's watching, like as the video is going, he's doing commentary, and he gets hit with an elbow, and he's like, yeah, bro, I got hit with the 3 millionth elbow. At this point, I already know, like, I'm out of there. Like, let's hurry up and finish this fight. I'm just trying to make it dirty. Just trying to make it. Oh, I caught him. Okay, yeah. And then all of a sudden he gets hit again. He's like, at this point, and then he goes, that's the 4 millionth elbow. Like at this point, I don't know where I'm at. And then the refs and Herb Dean stops the fight, and he's like, yeah. And I'm looking at Herb like, damn, motherfucker, you didn't stop this shit sooner. I'm over here getting my ass beat. Like that, the whole commentary he gave, like that shit was funny. He's like, I haven't seen that before, but he's definitely got space in my heart for like a UFC fighter.
All right, that's respect.
That shit is interesting.
Let's see. Let's make it through these prelims. Then we had Winland getting knocked out by Stahem by punches in the first round. Y'all don't know, bro. Like there was 8 finishes, 7 knockouts, and 6 within the first round. This card was fucking crazy. So yeah, first round within under a minute, some punches, and then the women's fights go to decision. Oliveira won, and then this is another crazy knockout. First round, spinning back elbow. Ramos.
That shit was so nice.
Is there anything better than like a spinning back fist, spinning back out, like any other? Like, is there anything better than that knockout?
Nah, that shit comes out of nowhere, bro, and catches you off guard. That shit's crazy to watch.
No, okay. I personally think this is more spinning back elbows in anime. I feel like that'll really get the point across that he ended the motherfucker.
In boxing, would a spinning back fist be legal? Like if someone lands a spinning back fist, that's legal.
Really?
Is it? That's what I'm asking Marcus. If I was boxing, right? If I just spin, I hit that spinning back fist. Is that a legal strike?
Bro.
If so, I need Anderson Silva to whip that out in his next boxing fight.
I'm pretty sure that shit would be fucking super illegal, but I'm not 100% sure, so I'm not.
We don't know the technicalities on that one.
I'm pretty sure it would be because that.
The elbow
you can't hit like with the glove like that either.
No, okay. I know the elbow is super illegal, but the spinning back fist, I thought maybe might be some leeway. But then we had probably the hardest left hook of the night. Some were calling it the left hook from hell. Jeremiah Wells with the first round KO over McGee, and that left hook really dropped him.
Bro, this the fight where they was looking. They said, I seen on Twitter. They was like, yo, where the hell was Herb Dean going? Like,
Herb Dean was like way like, where the fuck was he talking to somebody?
You can see on the fucking I'm looking at the highlights right now. Bro, motherfucker had to run too. Like he had to literally hit the race a little bit to go catch up.
Him had to go that far to break up a fight.
He was out. The second Wells letting it on his chin, bro, was out. So you can see Herb Dean put some pep in his step trying to get him off. Because bro, immediately, pussy, bitch, motherfucker. Like those hammer punches be terrible, especially when you're already dazed.
Shit. And then we enter our main card. And this is honestly, I think, the best knockout of the night. Not technically, but Yanez getting the first round KO over Kelly. And Tony Kelly was saying some racist ass shit prior to the fight. He for Yanez, and he was saying some like Latino racist shit. So, and it was a fight in Texas where Yanez is from. He's a Mexican from Texas. Like, so everyone in the building was booing Kelly the moment he walked through. And then like Yanez to beat the fuck out of him. And then it looked like, bro, I'm not gonna lie, the ref kind of looked like he let that shit go on a little bit longer than he should have. And I think maybe the ref maybe a little speaks a little Spanish himself. Like he like that was honestly, I think, the best knockout I saw tonight. And then Tony Kelly, only thing he did was continue to talk more shit. Like he went on IG and was talking to a Japanese fighter in UFC, and then he just basically said, "You're gonna be real mad when my ancestors come down." Like he just stays saying some like white racist shit. Like UFC, I don't know, like I don't like that shit's just crazy to me that he does that and like it's not a big deal. But then like just for him to get his shit split was fucking, I think, a highlight of the night.
That's what you call it.
Bro.
You earn that ass whooping. Hey, look, I've always wanted to use this word. You earn that ass whooping, you prick.
You prick. Yeah, that's exactly what it is, bro. This will be the highlight of his career. I guarantee it right here. This main card fight.
And it's the only time we're gonna talk about his racist ass. You prick.
Yeah, I spoke too much on him. On to the next fight.
Douchebag.
We had Gregory RoboCop Rodriguez getting the first round knockout over the Cuban Missile Crisis Marquez. I thought that was a fire ass nickname.
Where did they get these nicknames from? Was this the Cold War that we're talking about right now?
But that was I was like, when they said him, Bruce Buffer said that, I was like, I was like, oh, he's gotta win. But he lost. Like the RoboCop did his job, and he looked like a Junior Dos Santos type boxer in there. Like he really was out this fucking punch. Like there was just, you can tell the difference in skill and the striking when like one guy lands everything and the other guys is
different.
Yeah, that's what was showcased, and it was one of the best knockouts because it was like a minute long clip of the ref should have stopped the fight. But the guy was literally on his Rock Lee shit. He was standing up, lights out. That boy was not conscious no more. And then RoboCop, sent his ass right back in the shadow round. So, and then we had a split decision fight that was two highly prospects, Uzmagulov versus Kutaladze. And the split decision went to Uzmagulov.
I respect you for really attempting to say those names. I would have called Uma and Kate.
But this is the fight that I told Kev prior. I was like, this is like one guy's like 20-1 and the other guy's like 12-0, and they're both like could be potential champions one day. Just like, one's a Kazakhstanian and one's like a fucking Czechian. Like, those bloodlines really, it's belt or nothing.
Yeah, facts.
Then we had a TKO. We had Buckley getting the TKO corner stoppage or doctor stoppage over Durav. But this was, if y'all don't remember these names, this was the fight where Durav's right eye was so swollen. It was swollen shut, and it was like a big old bruise. Like it was a bad beatdown. It was a good doctor stoppage because the corner was gonna send him right back out there, blind, like going for another round.
Go in, motherfucker.
Oh man, what a piece of shit.
They said, bro, you still got a puncher's chance, bro.
It only takes one. You've seen there's been nothing but first round KOs all night. It only takes one.
Boy looked like he's allergic to bees and he got stung by a bee, and they're trying to send his ass right back out there.
Bro, the punishment in UFC fights are insane. Like sometimes I be looking. Like, yeah, a lot of people, you look at them after their fights, you cannot tell they won. Like the punishment is terrible. And like he was the bulk of that shit. That shit was tragic.
So before we get into our co-main event, Kevin Holland beating Tim Means by submission, and we go on to the main event, I got a couple things I want to bring up with y'all boys. So Cowboy versus Lauzon got canceled for a second time. We will not be covering this fight if it pops up again, nor do I think it will happen again because I ran a poll. 70% said they don't want to see the fight. Just let them boys retire. 30% said, why not? Let them fight. But then Dana White, after this card, came out and said, this thing is getting like Tony versus Habib. No, I would not book this fight again. Like, he's also done with all the drama. So just let them boys retire. They had a hell of a career.
fuck those guys. What the fuck they got going on, man?
Didn't a different one, like one per the somebody else quit this time?
Yeah, Lauzon quit this time. His knee locked up, and the other one he got like sick or food poisoning literally the day before the fight or some shit. Cowboy.
Yeah, but they said that they looked at each other, and I think bro went to them. When did they find out? At the weigh-in?
It wasn't the weigh-in, but it was like the day of or the day before the fight, and all the fighters are kind of hanging out. Like everyone's just hanging out, and then his knee locked up. And the moment his knee locked up, he went upstairs with his trainer, and they tried to play it off like no big deal. And then for like 2-3 hours, they went into like an ice bath. They stretched it, and like he still couldn't walk on his knee. And he was just like he knew he couldn't fight later that day. So then the fight got canceled.
That's it. I heard he went to bro. He went to go look at him. He says, "Yeah, you quit last. It was your turn last time. Now it's my turn."
Shit, no, I believe, especially with fighters, like you don't want to be the reason. But then if the other person quit before, like you kind of like, all right, like, it ain't that big of a deal.
It's just it's a cut of weight for me. I didn't have to cut crazy weight when I was a 106, but like I used to be like, I'd be upset if I had to make weight just to not wrestle, especially like if I'm just gonna go get my hand raised, like at a dual meet in high school wrestling. You got the dual meet, so you want to go, so you still got to make weight because you want your team to get the team points. So motherfucking, I'd be like, bro. I used to be like, bro, what the fuck? If you don't go motherfucking put one of them JV niggas out there, I'm not gonna cut motherfucking 10 pounds in 4 days, which isn't that much, but 10 pounds in 4 days, motherfucker. Yeah, I did have 4 days. I'm not cutting 10 pounds in 4 days just to look cool. Man, you better talk to them motherfuckers. I will be 15 over the weight on Monday.
Yeah, no, we'll see what UFC does, just because that one championship fighting over in Japan, which is like one of the like a Bellator type, it's pretty big. It's even growing bigger every year. That's where Demetrius Johnson got traded to. The UFC traded his ass over there, but they do like a skin graft. So you don't cut weight. They do this like thing, like the body weight percent. I don't know what it is, but it's all science, and you don't have to cut weight. It's just like you only fight at what your weight class is. So like they can tell what a normal weight class would be for you, and like so like you can't go and cut 20 pounds to fight, because they don't want people like in UFC getting these injuries, having kidney every week. There's somebody that can't fight on the card, and it's because usually of cutting weight.
Yeah. On the Ultimate Fighter, she was bad. There was a girl, she was like 24 pounds overweight. And, the 24 pound weight cut. And it's because before she got into the Ultimate Fighter, she was pregnant. So she just had a miscarriage. So, she had a miscarriage. So her body still thought she was pregnant. You know, girls' bodies work crazy.
Yeah, no,
so,
that's crazy.
So she was like 20 pounds, no matter what. The most she did was like 18. She got down to like 18. But like most of the camp, she was 20 pounds. And then like, now it's her turn to fight. They picked her to fight, and it was like, "Can you make the weight?" She goes, "I can try." And then some dude called over Pena and was like, "Come
here." Yeah, like nah,
like. Come on, stupid bitch. Be realistic.
Like he looked at Pena was like, because Pena's a big. If you think you can do it, we can do it, man. Believe in yourself. And he called over like, "Come on now." Like
yeah, and just with that's literally the biggest risk that any of these fighters competitions run, is like kidney failures and all that stuff that you get from cutting weight. And like
that's it different.
Yeah, so like eventually I think they will all have that fucking test that they're doing over there.
I don't think so, because like cutting weight is technically not even allowed in the sport. It's at the high school level, like wrestling in the high school level, but like niggas is still doing it. Like I think that's just like part of the tradition. Like when it comes to fighting sports, because think about like how big these people are in normal life. So like when it comes to fighting sports, I think that's just a part of it. It's about just like being the best, it's about where can you fight your best at? No,
I agree. I just think with the UFC growing with more promoters, and like, like the WWE went to fucking kids because they knew like how to, like the biggest interest, I think with the more promoters and get into like the bigger ponds of like money and business, and especially with Japan's like it's basically Bellator, because they have $1 million fights. Like it's a big deal over there, that one championship. And a lot of, not a lot, but some fighters from there come over here. So like they're really high talented, and for them to show that like there's a safe alternative method available, it is gonna be kind of like where these next 10 years I think will be crucial for UFC on like where do they go with everything. Then but the only other news I have is Jake Paul. It kind of has to do with Jake Paul, but Nate Diaz, one of the biggest stars in UFC to this day, he hasn't fought in a while, and it's because he's kind of stuck in contract hell, which is a known thing that UFC and other fight places do. You can't fight anywhere until you end your contract. So if you have one fight left on your contract and they really want to screw you over, they'll never book you for a fight, so you can never fight anywhere. So
that's fucked up.
Yeah, that's happened to a few people. It's not like a new thing. Like it's happened a lot throughout the years. So Nate Diaz is kind of feeling like he's in that predicament, and he's telling Dana, he's all on Twitter, book me or cut me, and he hasn't been cut, he hasn't been booked. And he came out today or yesterday and was just tweeted. He tweeted a video of Jake Paul knocking out Tyron Woodley with the caption of, Dana White, you need to cut me. I'm trying to go on to bigger and better things, but you keep stopping me. And then basically hinting at he has something in the works with Jake Paul, and if he can't sign it because you can't fight anywhere else until you terminate your contract with the UFC. So that was one of the big news, because a lot like that's one of the biggest stars, probably outside of McGregor. He's the biggest star in the UFC.
Didn't he beat McGregor? He beat McGregor twice.
Yeah, he beat McGregor once. McGregor came back. He was also like 15 pounds bigger than McGregor, and but McGregor was also this unstoppable train in the moment. At least on the outside looking in, people would think he's this unstoppable force.
Still think. No, I'm capping.
But I just think it's crazy that bigger and like he also is saying like there's a fuck you to Dana, but to think that like the money that he would make probably in his fight with the UFC, like for him to say on to bigger and better things and hinting at the Jake Paul fight, it really is crazy. Like that boy Jake Paul really is giving out like probably a few million. Like if depending, like I feel like the budget only gets bigger each fight. Like so, he's probably giving Nate like a 2, 3, 4, like a couple milli just to get in the ring, and for his fans, and there's a lot of fans for him to buy that card. Like so for him, like probably the biggest UFC star to be like, I'm on the bigger and better thing. I thought that was a weird way to phrase it.
Man, it's not looking too good, man. They gotta figure that. Should I either give him a fight in the UFC or just let his ass go? There's no point.
Either that, it's either Jake Paul or let that boy fight Chimaev.
I feel like he'll take the Chimaev fight too, because you know how the Diaz brother, they ain't no bitches. They'll take that fight just as long as he also probably knows that he'll have that next fight on the back. Where I've never been a fan of that whole holding people, because that was what Francis Ngannou, they were worried before the fight with Gane that like because he was having talks of leaving UFC, that they would never book his fight and like strip him of the belt, like because they've done some like shit. Like I want like Tito Ortiz, Dana White don't like Tito. Like there was a moment where he was frozen in the sand. Like there's been moments where fighters are just frozen in the sand because they can't do anything, because literally the rights of me fighting is owned by this company.
That shit lame, bro.
Nah, that's business, and that shit gets shaky, kid. Hey, let's just hope they figure it out, man. Like,
yes, especially with the big boys like that. But yeah, no, that's all the UFC news. Let's cut into the fucking co-main and main event of UFC Fight Night Austin. It was supposed to be Cowboy versus Lauzon, but like we said, that got canceled for a second time. But instead, they moved that boy Kevin Holland up to the co-main event, which honestly I think he should have been in the first place, versus OG Tim Means.
OG.
Marcus, you weren't here for the preview, but I know you were around to watch the fight. How did you like it? What did you think? I know you thought Holland was going to win.
Yeah, man. I knew I was going in this shit hoping Holland was going to put on a performance, which he did. And That's all I could say, man. It's just he did what I would expect him to do, and I thought he was the co-main event whole time. For real. I didn't know that he was originally gonna be the third on that card.
Yeah,
That's kind of crazy, but I like him at this weight class, man.
what about you, Kev? How you feel about Kev?
About Kev.
I'm 80% sure Bro's really a crime fighter.
He did it again.
He did it again. Bro's fucking saved the day, like what, 2 days or a day before his fucking or the day off. I don't even know.
He stopped an armed robbery like 6 months ago, a carjacking like last year, and then this weekend.
Fucking Superman.
He calls himself Batman, and that's what he fucking did. He came, put bro in the chokehold, and he told him to talk. And that nigga said, like, I don't even what do you call that submission? Is that a guillotine?
A DRC choke.
Or a DRC choke? I've never that was nice. And the way he flipped him and turned him, it was not I seen there was nothing Bro could do with that. Like, it was a nice smooth fight. And I just want Kevin Holland just to keep rising in this division. Like, he's must see TV. Like, let's see him with some competition. I don't want to say let's see him with some competition. I do, but let's see him continue to get better and rise in this division.
This was a tune-up fight, in my opinion. I think the last two fights for Holland, just because he's still 28, 29, he's still young in the fighter world, and he kind of got, I want to say rushed, because he put on some performances, especially when the Apex just became a thing. I think he fought 3 times in the first year of the Apex, so like he was like big deal. Like Dana White loved him for that. Like, oh, thank you, because we needed people to fight for the Apex. Everyone had COVID and no one wanted to fight, so he kind of got like rushed like real quick into the limelight. And he definitely earned it. But then you went up against Marvin Vettori, who is probably, if it wasn't for Israel Adesanya, he might honestly be the belt holder in that division, because no one else can wrestle him. He would out wrestle everybody in that division. And then he goes in there and has like Derek Brunson, who literally just fought the guy who is now fighting Israel Adesanya in the belt, and he was beating the guy until he got knocked out. So like, he literally had to fight these 2 top contenders in a weight class 15 pounds heavier, and now he's in a weight class I think fits him better. The sky's the limit. He has like an 81-inch reach. Like, he has like at least a 5-6 inch reach on everybody except for maybe Usman. Like, this man really has the sky's the limit. These are his 2 tune-up fights to make sure, like, okay, you are who we thought you are. Because if you are who we thought you are, you should have made an easy work out of Oliveira and out of Tim Means, which he definitely did. He made easy work out of both of them, because even before the submission, he was on the feet. He was out striking him. Tim Means, who has a good wrestling, couldn't take him down, and Holland was literally just having his way. So he's ready. I think he honestly, like, man, if no one wants to fight Chimaev, throw that boy Holland in there. Throw Batman in there.
Throw the bat.
Yeah, like, but that's the same weight class. Like, that weight class is only getting deeper. Like, Usman, Colby Covington, Gilbert Burns, Leon Edwards, fucking Vinke Luque, Belal Muhammad, and then now we got Chimaev and Kevin Holland. Like, that's a deep ass division. Like, Jorge, I didn't even say Jorge Masvidal. Like, that division is not Bryce Mitchell, but like, that division goes crazy.
Bryce.
Hey, Conor McGregor is talking about he's at 172. Like, that division only gets deeper.
Don't talk about my GOAT.
That the new premier.
Wait for that.
Right, that's the premier division right now. But I'm not gonna lie, I'm a big 135. That Aljamain still is 135, right?
Yeah, I just don't think anyone has the depth that welterweight has right now.
Yeah, I don't like it either, because Kevin Holland is definitely, like, when I looked at the ranking and when you named all those names, I was like, I respect it. Like, I want to see him fight Masvidal. That's the money fight right there.
That'd be a good fight right there.
That's a big money fight. I don't know why, but consistently, Masvidal is a big money fight.
He just has the fan base. Like, you don't even like to be like those money fight. Like, Diaz
From
is
Miami.
a money fight. Like, if anyone main events against Diaz, that's sometimes back. Maybe not now, because people kind of know he's washed. But like 2 years ago, when he still kind of was washed, he was still a money fight.
Boys from Miami.
Now let's get into our main event. Let's talk some controversy. Let's talk the fucking judges. We have Calvin Kattar versus Josh Emmett. We went to a split decision, and anytime you get a split decision, you know they get it wrong. We had Calvin Kattar losing to Josh Emmett 2 to basically 47-48, 48-47, 47-48, and Josh Emmett wins. So who thought, truthfully, who thought Kattar won? I'll start with that. Who thought Kattar won? And even if you don't think Kattar won, who thought it? Who went into the judges at least thinking, oh, this is 50-50, Kattar won, Emmett won? Like, because I didn't.
You didn't have it what?
I didn't think it was I thought going into this, I thought it was going to be a unanimous decision.
Oh yeah, it should have been. I had Kattar winning pretty easily for.
Kev, like, did you even see, like, did you have even like a moment before the judges called that thought like Emmett won that fight?
I just don't know what it is. I just don't beef for UFC. I'm a big Sal fan. Like, I'm a big Sal fan. Was Sal one of the judges on this one?
I'm not. No, he was, but it was it Chris Lee? The man's name was Chris Lee, I believe his name was. That was the person who gave Emmett the 4th round when he got outstruck 35-12.
Yeah, especially the 4th round, bro. That shit made no sense.
That was the one deciding factor on the judge cards. That literally switched the fight, was the fact that he had that one round that everyone thinks unanimously Kattar won, especially because 35-12 in a stand-up fight, there wasn't no ground, and there's no control. Like, just 35-12 is the only thing you need to see.
Yeah, that
was the best part. All right, so look, right. So first, I want to use a quote from my dog Chelsea. I'm a big Chelsea fan. I'm not gonna lie. Every time I accidentally see his shit pops up on my YouTube, I end up watching 4 episodes. Because he just literally just sits in a chair and yells out about UFC. So he said this about the Santos Shevchenko fight. He was like, we got 2 choices. So we're gonna talk about a great fight, or we're gonna bitch about a decision. Can't do both. But contrary, this was a pretty decent fight, so we can do both. Because here's my thing, right? I think the decision was wrong. Very wrong. Because I was watching the fight like, damn, Emmett, because Emmett came through looking like a killer. Like, I thought off the top, like, bro looked like he was ready to come take a head. I like the way he composed himself, and you could feel it coming off. Kattar looked nice. He looked like he was ready to go for it too, but Emmett came through ready to shoot. So then that's exactly what they didn't do. But I liked the fight. It was a very stand-up fight. Nobody attempted a shot once, and I was just like,
no. There was no Josh Emmett attempted 4 takedowns.
Okay, I'm tripping. But I felt like
it seemed like it.
No, it was quick. It was like a 5, like he shot, it got denied, and they went right back to stand up. It wasn't no like, I hold on to your arm. It was just a quick denial.
I bet you if Kattar went for some. Did Kattar go for a takedown?
No.
Okay, maybe that's what I saw. Calvin, I bet you if Kattar went for a takedown, they probably would have been like, 35-12, and he took him down. But nah, man, I think it was a terrible decision. You gotta recommend, you gotta talk about it. But it was just an interesting fight. Like, Emmett just came through, and I guess he maybe in the judge's eye might have controlled. I don't know exactly what he had right there. But hey, more than one judge had to vote for him.
Yeah, the other judge had, I don't know if it's Sal. I know the other judge that had him, they had him winning the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd round. And those are the 3 rounds where it was actually kind of close, because I feel like the 4th and 5th, literally it was 35-12 and 35-13. Those are the 4th and 5th rounds. Like, those are like the 2 rounds. I know you go into the end of the fight, like, okay, this person definitely won these rounds, and this person definitely won these rounds. So whenever that one judge, Chris Lee, had it the other way, it was just like, oh wow, like, that's crazy. Like, I don't know what you saw. It was a good fight. I thought honestly, when Josh Emmett tried those takedowns and it was easy stuffs, because in the preview I said like I thought Josh Emmett would win, and I thought his wrestling would come into play, but for his stuff to get taken down kind of like effortlessly from this like boxer, like someone who literally has no wrestling background, won't wrestle you. 100% don't want to wrestle, get into any type of wrestling or on the ground engagement because he has the better striking. For him to easily stuff 4 takedowns throughout the fight, it was just like, I thought that was just like, to me, like, oh, he had his way this fight. He boxed you the way he wanted to box you, and he didn't even let you do anything. Like you wanted to make it dirty, didn't happen. You wanted to get it to the ground, didn't happen. You wanted to get clinch work in, didn't happen. Like I would just stand on the outside, hit you with this left hand jab, and like let you walk into my punches as you try to throw some like hooks that will land every now and then, because he did land his strikes, but it was just like he got outstruck, I think, every round except for the first.
They weren't the cleanest shots either.
Yeah, no. I thought it was still a good fight. Josh Emmett, because I think Josh Emmett might get a title shot because there's no one else in the division that's in that 2, 3, 4 spot, because he already beat the Korean Zombie, and he like Holloway's fighting next, and so Josh Emmett might get a title shot off of this. And I just don't think it's the most deserving title shot. Like after this performance, honestly.
I mean, it is what it is, man. I think who's the champion in this division?
Volkanovski. That's what I'm saying. Like he's already ran through the gauntlet.
So, fuck that. He's getting fucked up.
He is. Like Volkanovski's gonna it's gonna be a slaughter. That's what I was saying. Like it's like, for him to beat Josh Emmett, for him to beat Kattar the way he did, which is kind of controversial, and then be catapulted into the title shot at Volkanovski, I just don't think, I don't know, it's rushing it. First off, I don't think you're winning that fight at all. But also, it's just like I don't think you deserve, like, maybe have him fight Korean Zombie next, maybe, and then let's see if he's able to beat him. But for people talking about Josh Emmett getting the title shot next against Volkanovski, it's like you're gonna get murdered if you do that. So hopefully you don't do that. But I don't think you deserve it.
With the Wolves.
Like if Kattar won this fight, I don't think he deserves it either. But at least I would say you have a reason to take it, because you kind of you manhandled Josh Emmett for 4 or 5 rounds, in my opinion. You boxed him exactly. You won, in my opinion, you won that fight.
Definitely won that fight.
Where you was at when they was picking judges?
But I just put my application in. I'm gonna be judging fights soon.
That'd be cool. That'd be fun.
But not this weekend. There's definitely something in the water. We had, let me see, double check, make sure my numbers aren't wrong. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 finishes, 8 knockouts, and 6 first round finishes.
Damn.
Dana said he gave a fight bonus to everybody. It's probably like $50,000 to everybody. Everybody got an extra 50 bands.
And I'm upset because Bovada, my betting website, they had a thing that was fight of the night. First time I've ever seen that prop. Fight of the night. I can bet, and I bet on Kattar versus Emmett because I thought it was going to be like a stand-up war. No wrestling. There's a whole bunch of boxing back and forth. 5 rounds. And it was the favorite. It was the favorite to win that. So I still won that. But if I would have known he's giving a fucking handout to everybody, I would have chose the fucking long shot odds, because every bet hit. It didn't matter who you bet on in that prop. You got paid because Dana White said everybody's fight of the night.
That's crazy.
Bovada must have seen that coming. That's fire.
That's true. But shout out Dana White, because we talked it last episode. Is it recently biased that we think every card is the best card of ever? I don't think this card has any recently biased. I think if you have 9 finishes, 8 knockouts, 6 in first round finish, break UFC records, like I said, everyone has that dog in them. No one's trying to look like a hoe no more, bro. Everyone's like, I'm gonna go finish the guy in front of me, and I'm gonna go get that 50K bonus.
And that's what you want, man, because this is a sport where it can get really boring if you don't get really active. So, like, we want nothing but ruthless aggression. We thirst for it.
And we definitely got the ruthless aggression this week. So, shout out Dana White. Stay tuned because I don't think it's next week, but coming up, UFC International Fight Week.
2 weeks, man. What's it called? You know, Kai is on the card with and that's 5 because him and Adesanya were like on the same
New Zealand kickboxing.
And they already got one they already got 2 champions. So like Kai working on it. That's 5.
But that card honestly is the most stacked card of the year. International Fight Week honestly is always the most stacked card. So stay tuned for that. You had Adesanya versus Cannonier with the middleweight championship on the line. Volkanovski versus Holloway, the featherweight championship on the line. Then Alex Pereira, the only person to beat Israel Adesanya, knocked him out in the kickbox. Like, he's a legend in kickboxing. Knocked him out and got a decision over him, fighting Sean Strickland. Winner of that fights for the belt next.
Hey, do you know which one Adesanya picked when he was asked who you want to fight more?
Probably Pereira, just to shut everybody up.
Got to.
Yeah.
And to get that win. Every fighter, if you're worth your coin, you want to avenge your losses.
Nah, dead ass. But he said that motherfucker, you guys did it. He said we didn't see the full fight of them when he lost the decision or the fight and coming up to the knockout. So he says he has something for him, and that's kickboxing. This is a UFC fight, and there's a difference.
There is. And then we got the women's flyweight number 2 ranked Murphy versus Misha Tate, who I believe is like top 5 ranked in that division. Winner might fight for a belt. And then everybody's favorite Sugar Sean O'Malley, rainbow hair, big social media presence, faces Pedro Munez, which will be definitely his biggest test to date. Pedro Munez has been around and has fought a lot of people. And just to show you, I'm not going to go through everybody, but just to show you how deep this card is, bro, we have Jim Miller versus Bobby Green. And if y'all don't remember, Bobby Green versus Islam Makhachev was a main event that we covered a couple months ago. And that is one of the very first fights on the early prelims is Bobby Green.
That's crazy.
Raya Hall of Fame UFC fighter, early prelims. This is how deep this is the card that this will be the fucking state. You want to be there for every hour of that card. So you also want to stay tuned for our breakdowns because we've been on a heater. I don't think there's been a single week since we started this podcast where we've had a losing week of picks, especially in the fight card game, at least.
Right.
Come on now.
But that's been UFC Austin. This has been UFC, not UFC. This has been Totally Blitz Fight Club. I'm Paul Pickham Wyndham Concha. I'm with Marcus P.T. Penley. And that's that boy, Kev, the Don, Waterboy Savoy. And this has been Totally Blitz. Yo, big.
Problem with being problematic. Get the light beam on me ready for electrostatic. Don't you step into this box if you're not batting. Then my gang got tools. You could call them